What was the one? I think it was called Roadside Picnic by this Russian guy. Oh. You know, walk past and see if I see that two things again, and it was like, oh, cool. You have great hair. Oh, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Fine. You must have two eyes on. I see something about Russia here. Really? The eventual Russia.
Excuse me, isn't it interesting that you have such a music disaster?
It's crazy, isn't it? But it was like that here in Australia as well. Like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It seems more shocking. Like, we know that crazy things go happen with Civil War, the Bangladesh and stuff. When it's enriched, yeah, when it's enriched, exactly that's culturally, it's more shocking, isn't it? Thank you.
Well, hi. Your face is familiar.
Pardon?
Your face is familiar.
Oh, I sort of turn up at these things.
What are you? Oh,
Yeah.
you've been here before, haven't you?
Last year.
Yeah.
Well,
When
not
you were a
last
writer,
year.
weren't you?
Yeah.
You wrote a book called Memories of Love.
What was that? There was the
Swimming
one.
pools?
Yes.
Yes.
The down at the Baths one.
Oh, that's 2 years ago.
No, that's actually more than that.
Is that right?
Yes.
Did you talk about it then, though? 'Cause
I did. I talked about it 3 years ago.
Yes,
I think,
yeah. Oh, that must have
because after that I had another book about Palmerston North postcards, but I didn't talk about that.
Right, yeah.
But that was 2 years ago, so it was at least 3 years away. So what's your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I'm Val.
Yes, I remember meeting you.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, I thought you don't mind coming to these things on your own because you usually bump into someone that
Yes, yeah, I'm just so pleased that
I am
you know,
too.
because
I didn't really want to come across today, but I can't come across it, until Monday. And I thought, no, I want to support it to make sure
because the whole
that.
lot of it, because the same in Palmerston, isn't it?
What the?
Showing as well, Palmerston,
Is it?
isn't it? Isn't it?
Don't think is it? I don't know. I just presumed
Here-
everything was here. It
it's
doesn't
here all
actually.
Or is it just here?
I'm not, is it here all week?
Yeah.
It's only. I thought it was only.
No, right through.
Well, the program only says Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh,
Have I missed some? Have I
It
got
was only Monday. I was only going Monday.
Monday? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I think so. The program only goes as far as Monday.
I need to be program.
I want to come all day on Monday, but I can't come tomorrow. So I thought that if we don't support it, it won't
Yeah, I'll quite
happen.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to come at all today. But no, I will. I'll put some people so I shall turn up. I sort of picked out what would I do. Have lunch with a friend afterwards. You're going to fit it all in together, don't you?
Yeah.
It's quite a good way of doing it actually, because if you just have a gap, which I imagine they would have had, you can push them together or something, can't you?
And if two people are together, in their own bubble,
You can
turn
put,
around.
put your coffee down or something. Oh. I thought this sounded quite interesting. Are you going to, what other things are you going to?
I don't know. I have to read the program again and take it in. Yes. Yeah.
You made my day actually.
Oh, good. Well, I'm impressed that
I've been pretty
I'm
low key
impressed that I remember you.
Well, I am too. I've been pretty low key for the last couple of years, and I'm just starting to get back into to things again. Hello.
We'll just begin in a minute. Do you need to
Typical front row.
Yeah.
run us into the loo or anything?
It feels a bit strange, though, doesn't it, with all the seats in between?
Yeah, that's
Like
your
we should
water.
get used to it.
Yeah. I think this is quite a good way of doing it, actually.
And the idea is that if someone is in your bubble and they want to sit next to you, you can turn the chair around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just done that.
Yeah. Now, I believe the librarians wanted to kick us off with a health and safety talk first. Yep.
Hi, my name's Sue, and I'd like to welcome you here to the Fielding Library and the Manawatu Writers Festival. Health and safety. First of all, we're quite geographically beneficial here because we've got an exit just there, so we can just pile out there in case of an emergency. For loos, if you follow this wall down, there's two green doors just down there, and that's where the toilets are. There are books by the various authors for sale at the front counter, or by the TV at the front counter. Just take them to the front counter and they'll deal with them there. And I think basically that's all. So just hand over to Thom and Gopal and enjoy the session. Thank you very much.
Great. Kia ora koutou and welcome. I am here today to talk to Gopal Poudyel about this wonderful book, which unfortunately, unless you read Nepalese, you cannot read yourself. But Gopal's going to translate much of it for us today, so we will get to hear the book, which is fantastic. The translation of the title is Story Inside a Story. Gopal is also the editor of a magazine, Our Identity, and at present he's the secretary of the Global Bhutanese Literary Organization and the Bhutanese Society of New Zealand Incorporated. Born in Bhutan, Gopal became a refugee in Nepal, born in Bhutan.
Yeah, Bhutan.
Yeah, sorry. He became a refugee at the age of 8. He's grown up in a refugee camp with lots of challenges, which we'll hear more about in just a moment. And on the 7th of January 2015, Gopal and his family resettled in New Zealand through the refugee quota program, and he obtained citizenship just last year, right? And we'll see a photo of that actually in a minute. So, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for coming here and for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
It's such a gift when we hear people's stories, particularly if they're different stories that we don't know and we haven't heard. So thank you for sharing this gift. And I just wanted to start by asking you, what made you decide to tell your story and to share it, to write this book, but also to share it here with us today?
Actually, I born in another part of the world, and this New Zealand is another part of the world. So it is I myself think that if I share my stories to others, like I also feel free, and they also know that how the peoples of Bhutan became the refugee, and how they spend their life in refugee camp, and how they came in New Zealand, and how they are feeling when they are in New Zealand. So I want to share this to others. Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. And so just thinking a little bit about your story, just from what I've heard from our conversations, because I haven't read the book, my Nepalese is not very good. There's a lot in your background and what you'll talk about that's quite challenging, that's quite hard, right, for you and your family. Do you find it hard to talk about this and to share it?
So what you were here, that is what we experience in my life, and it also represents the situation and the life that we're spending in refugee camp by the whole more than 100 Bhutanese people in the refugee camp. So sometimes I feel that, but I try to manage myself. There is a water and I can manage.
Good. And if we get to any places or any questions that are just too hard or too challenging, you just tell us.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll just back right off of those. So I thought it might be good just to give us a little bit of background before you read from the book, just about your family and your history, how they have settled, where they've settled, and how they got to Bhutan, and what that sort of context is.
Actually, I'll start from my name itself.
Okay.
My name is Gopal. There are two syllables like Go and Pal. Gopal means a word that comes from Sanskrit. And in Sanskrit, that Go means a cow. And Pal means a person who looks after the cow. So it comes from the name of Lord Krishna. So I am the Hindu. And from my Hindus, they keep my name Gopal. So Go means the cow and Pal means the person who looks after the cow. And I need to go in the farm to look after the cow in New Zealand. But actually I feel very cold, so I'm not going out. And my great-grandmothers went from Nepal, in eastern part of Nepal, to Bhutan, taking my grandfather when he was just around 5 or 6 years old. And when she went in Bhutan, she started the agricultural life. And my grandfather married there, and my fathers all were born in Bhutan. And I born in Bhutan. When I was 8 years old, in Bhutan there is people demand the democracy and human rights. When people demand human rights and democracy, the Bhutan government suppress the voice, and they start to snatch the property and start to arrest the people. So after that, my parents fled back to Nepal as a refugee. I will read that in the later on. And this is the one. And in my family, we all are born in Bhutan. Like I have 5 sisters, and we have 3 brothers. And one youngest sister was died when we became refugee. And now in New Zealand, me and my 1 brother and 1 sister here. My sister family is in Philly. My brother family is in Christchurch. And me and my parents with me, and I have 2 little boys whose aim is to be a Cristiano Ronaldo. They are playing football so much, and they are planning to go like Manchester and Barcelona to play. I know how much they will do. Just are blessed to them. They are 7 and 6, and they are playing from Red Sox in a club. They are doing good. And my 3 sisters are in America, and 1 brother is in America. My in-laws were still in the refugee camp, so I will go through later on.
Oh, good. So that gives us some background of your family, how they ended up in the refugee camp, and then you're going to tell us more about how you ended up in New Zealand. So I thought how we've organized things is just but these are chapter titles from the book. So the first chapter is called Frightened, and I think it was when you were in the refugee camp, you got some misinformation about New Zealand. Was it in Auckland?
In Auckland Refugee Center, there is a Mangi Refugee Center.
So, as you'll see from many of these slides, Gopal and his family have developed quite a bond with Maori and Tangata Whenua, and now are quite close. But it wasn't always that way, and you received some advice to be scared, to be nervous about Maori when you came to Palmerston North. So do you want to just start with that and tell us?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I brought some, I translate my books in English, but I'm not a professional translator. So I already gave my books to someone who is a professional to translate it. So if you want me to read, I can read. Otherwise, if you want me to explain, I can explain.
Maybe just whatever you're comfortable with.
So actually what happened is that we never heard the Maori word before we came to New Zealand. Before not coming to New Zealand, even New Zealand is quite a new country for us when we were back to a refugee camp. We know America, we know Australia, their name is coming in the news, but we didn't hear that much in New Zealand. But later on when we came here in the refugee, and we settled in the Maori camp, we heard a new thing that is a Maori. And the peoples who visit us from our own community, they started talking, be careful and be aware of the Maori people. They are quite danger. This is their land, so please be aware with them. So that things always start to hit our mind. Oh, we come in the new country, and again someone is there to need to be frightened. And again, we got our house in Highway in Palmerston North. In Highway, all the Maoris people around our house. Oh, already we were told in the Auckland Memory Center, don't be away with the Maori people. Again, we got house all in the middle of the Maori people. That makes more frightening to us. And those our community people come to visit us, they always say, please shift from here, try to find another house. It's very dangerous. They're giving some example also. So because of that fear, we didn't open our curtain for a month. We just close the curtain and just we keep outside. We just see the people are walking, and we heard that they are speaking quite loudly. And we think, oh, what they are telling about us. And again, we can't understand properly the English because it is a second language. And slowly we get out of the house after a month, and there's a park. We start to go in park. When they came, we moved a little bit away from them. And the kids coming, and our kids going with them, and they start playing together. When they start playing together, slowly the parents come close to us, and we going close to them. And slowly we talk, and they ask us, we explain our reality, and we are from agricultural background. We grow lots of vegetables in our garden, and we share our vegetables to them, and they give us bread and other things. So slowly we feel comfortable, and sometimes we are not that much good in the electronics. Even this fire alarm we see in the first time in New Zealand, because in our refugee camp, there's no electricity, there's no fire alarm, no vacuum cleaner, no rice cooker, nothing is there. So these all things are new for us, no freezer. And sometimes our fire alarm start beep, 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 so we don't know what to do. Then we call them, and they come and they teach us how to off that, how to check it. And even when we buy a car and when we learn, we have no idea. They come and help us. So what we feel is that what the people told us that is a wrong thing, and what the Maoris are, they are not what we are explained. So we found very comfortable to them, and we were very good friendship. And slowly our boys start to kindergarten, and we used to go there. And we learn how to say kia ora, harima. Then we start to tell again to them. They also learn the namaste from us, and we interact each other. Also, the important thing is the Red Cross, who organize like food sharing and introduce a program. So when we have that program also, many people coming from our neighbors, and we interact each other, and we know more closer to them. And slowly, what we know is that the Maoris are really helpful people, and they love us and they guide us. Last thing I wrote in my book also, that I start to frighten with myself and our thinking rather than with the Maoris people. So I think, just I lie on my bed and I think, oh, if I were in place of Maori, what I think, if the government start bringing the new people in my land, and they start putting around me, how I react at time. May I will be more aggressive to the government. May we start to protest to the government. Why you bring these people? May we'll ask a lot of questions to them. But see, the Maori people doesn't say like that to us. They accept us and they welcome to us. Their heart is more greater than what I have. So I learned this great heart from them, and I always respect to them. Also, like there's one picture. I'd like to explain that picture also. When you came here in New Zealand, we never think that we have a big temples and everything. So we worried when we were in camp. I will read that later on another chapter. And we plan to take our elderly people to the Auckland because there is lots of temples. And during that time, we talked to some of the Nepalese people who are staying in Auckland. We are coming around 50 people in the bus, and we need some place to sit all night. We want to spend one night together, all our elderly people. So they helped. They went and they talked to this Marae. I forget the name of Marae, and he's the leader of the Marae. And the Marae allowed us to stay one night in the Marae. And in the morning we went there and we saw Haka. Because of Haka, I felt quite afraid. And they welcome to us, the Harima, and they give all facilities in their Marae. And they welcome to us. Oh, that feel, our elderly people, and we all feel that what the Maori peoples are. From there we know. Because they allowed us to stay in the temple, and they give us protection whole night, and they give everything what we need. So all the fight and what we have was gone from there. So this is a topic, what I written in the chapter, frightened.
So things changed a lot. You went from
Yeah.
frightened to friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, you said that you feel you have a lot in common, actually, with,
Yeah.
with Maori culture and ideas and beliefs. And so you actually found a sort of basis for friendship in your community. That's amazing. So go to the next photo here. I believe this is your naturalization citizenship ceremony? Is that?
Actually, this is a different photo.
Okay.
But then also I'll explain to you. It is also come under another topic. I will talk to you that topic now. So this is the photos that we done in our Grand International Creative Ceremony we did last year. Like all the writers of the different countries, they came here in New Zealand, from Nepal, from India, from America, Australia, the Nepalese writers, and we organized that program. So actually, he's from India.
Okay.
He's the writers of the 4 languages,
Oh.
and he's a chancellor of Nepal. He's a person from the government. He's the present chancellor, academic chancellor of Nepal.
Oh.
And you know that, right?
Mayor, yeah.
And that man with the hat was coming from America,
Ah.
and someone from Australia, maybe therefore it's not here. So, like that, I will talk about this later also, because we did that to promote our language and literature. And same day I published my book here.
Oh, wow. What a day.
Yeah. That time I welcome to, I invite you, but maybe because of some work.
Yeah. Actually, I was going on holiday.
Yeah.
Invited me to come along to the ceremony. Sorry, I couldn't make it. So the next chapter you're going to talk about is called Work and Income,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And that's a little bit about sort of adjusting to New Zealand and some highs and some lows about being here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead with that?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Working income is also one of the interesting thing in New Zealand for us, in the both way, in the negative and positive. Like when we were in the refugee camp, like we were provided our things by the UNHCR, so we never get money from them. We always get a rice, a limited rice, and others like a few chilies, sometimes pumpkin, sometimes potatoes, sometimes onion. Like that we used to get, and every fortnightly we used to get like that, the rice and everything. In the beginning we got some sugar and other things also, but slowly it was cut up, and later on we got very limited. But when we came in here, we didn't get the rice and potatoes and so on. Instead of that, we start getting a benefit from working income. And we never use a credit card, honestly, because we doesn't have a bank balance. In refugee camp, there is no bank. No money to buy something in how we need a bank. So here, credit card, and even our parents, they forget many times the number. To put the PIN number, they forget. Again, they need to go and change and need to go change. And work income, like, that is, when we are coming to the Manawatu Center, we are expanded that now when you are going in your own house, then you will be looked after working income. And when you came here, yes, we went to working income, and from there we started to get benefit. What happened is that the two things, when you got benefit, that is very good for us. From there, we pay our rent, we pay our internet. First time we're using internet in our life. Oh my God. In a refugee camp, there is nothing, no for nothing.
Is there a shared computer in the refugee camp?
No, they only for some time. Now slowly they start bringing and start giving workshop to us how to use computer and so on. But here we got internet, Wi-Fi 24 hours, no load shedding, all the time with electricity. So this is a very new thing. But sometimes we not sleep over all night. They say, oh, there's no load, the black night or everything. So electricity, always Wi-Fi there. And also we pay our rent and we buy a food and so on. Last time I shared to Thom also, like, we have to wait for festival to eat our meat.
In Bhutan?
Not in refugee camp.
Yeah.
In Bhutan we have very good festival because
Okay.
we have our own property, our everything is in Bhutan. But in refugee camp, we wait for our festival to have a meat. That also, we are like 10 to 12 members in family, and our mom bought 1 kg meat, and she cooked, and she divided 2 pieces, or 1 piece. And sometimes we invite some of our guests also, and we need to share the same thing, because it doesn't have the ability to buy a 2 kg. And like we cry, wanting some good food to eat, but there is no chance. But here, once we start getting benefit, we normally eat daily or like 2-3 times in a week a meal. That's a great things for us. So other things like this egg. In refugee camp, we have to be sick to get 1 apple. That is a true thing.
Wow.
If we become sick, only then someone will give us an apple to eat, because there is no money to buy an apple. So to get 1 biscuit also, we have to be sick. To get a glass of milk also, we have to be sick. Other there is no chance. If he becomes sick, then other coming, oh, he is sick, so let's give him a glass of milk or an apple, because he need to recover her. But here, we have we can eat an apple a day, banana. There is so many things to eat. We have lots of milk to buy. Within the $10, we get an apple, lots of, so everybody can. So these are very new things that we got help from the benefit. And even when you came here, we know how our people are living in refugee camp. So we help them. We send some amount to them. We buy a smart TV, smart mobile from the benefit itself. So these are very things. And also from work income, we got a lot of skill training, skill-based training. We used to go English teaching college there, ETC and other. So we were supported by the government and share lots of things. And other side is that some of the disadvantages or what we feel uncomfortable is that the work income start us, you have to now go to for work. We can't give you benefit all the time. That's true also. But what happened to us is that where to go for work? There is a challenging thing again. We are a very hard worker people. We used to work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Bhutan. So our parents, all in the morning, I read that in the chapter also, from 6 a.m. they start their job and they come at 6 p.m. at night. And after that they have a dinner. Again they start to work at 10 p.m. So we are really hard worker people. But what happened at the language barrier is a great obstacle for us. And those who have a language barrier, language problems, they are getting hard to get job. And those who are highly qualified people, they are also getting hard to get a job as per their experience and ability. Some people are so qualified here. They are the gold medalists. When they did a master, they are gold medalists from West Bengal. And some are the master of the computer. Some are the owner of the campus, and they are senior lecturer of the BBS and so on.
So they were senior lecturers back in
Yeah.
Bhutan.
No, they are still here in Bhutan.
They're still
They are with us here in New Zealand now. So actually what happened is that Bhutan is very good in education. In Bhutan, the education system is very good. So our teachers they are very high qualified people. So came in refugee camp, they start boarding and so on. So they keep on continuing their education, so they are well qualified. But what happens here, they're trying to do the jobs in the college, in the university, what they did there. But here, it is not easy to go lighted area. So that makes them stressed and depressed.
Yeah.
Most of the well-qualified people are quite stressed and depressed here with us. And those who have no language, again, they have their own tension. Because when they apply in the interview, their language cannot work properly, and they are weak back. So that makes frustrated to them also. So the people's feeling more pressure when working comes, keep on sending letter and call them, please, you have to go and find the job, go and find the job. Yes, the people's like to go for job, but their language cannot work. So again, we need to go back to working camp until we didn't get job. Then they ask us to bring up proof. And again, need to go and need to bring proof to them. That is one of the challenges. What we feel like one kind of pressure on us. Another thing is that when I got full-time job, my partner's benefit cut off. And she wants to go for some skill training through working income, but she didn't get any chance to go any skill training through working income because I already got a full-time job. You know, when you go, please let's give her training, she needed training. Then they told us, you already have a full-time job, and we have no any rules to give the training those whose partner already have a full-time job. So sometimes we have to come back from our job and need to come benefit to give opportunity to the partner to have a training. And it is not very easy to come back to the benefit again from our work. Luckily we got work, and we don't want to quit the job again.
No.
Again, we don't know whether we will get again or not. So we don't like to quit. And that also brings quite kind of misunderstanding in the family. So these are things. Other thing is that, like when we have a casual job, we need to go and update every week, weekly. We got this time, this week I got this much hours, another week this much hours. That's too stressful to need to go and sit in the line and go and explain to them. That is very new for us. Again, next week we have to go, again need to update that. And what happened? When we get job, our rent will go up. And the rent will not come back again. It will stay in the and that makes it very hard to maintain our house. Those who are educated or who have a good ability to manage this everything, they manage well, and they doesn't feel that much hard. But those who have a little knowledge and not familiar to the system of work income feel lots of stress. So sometimes people got a letter from work income and they can't read by themselves. And they used to carry and walk up to the Red Cross or their volunteers or the community people. And they asked to read. When you read, oh, the working income told you to go for a job, then they feel tempted, like, my God, where to go for a job? These are the things that we are family. But finally, what I wrote in my book is that we are very thankful to work income. Because of work income, within a year from the benefit, we able to buy our own car, like 1,500 to 3,000. We bought a car from the benefit itself, and also from benefit we eat, we enjoy internet and everything, and even we are able to send some little amount to our relatives who are in the refugee camp. And also we have a little bank balance from the working income. So that's a new thing.
That's a new thing.
Yeah, we are. That is given by someone, and we are able to keep in the bank. That's not our money. That is given by someone, but we are lucky to have some money in bank. So we like to thanks to the working income. Maybe the system is new for us, and this new system make us quite uncomfortable or feeling pressure. But overall, now we are very familiar. Now, in working income, we know like what we need to do. So those who are coming later us, then we go and guide to them. Oh, this is a system of working income. Don't feel pressure. This is normal. So we guide to them, help them.
So you could use your own experience to help other people.
Yeah, so
that's
we
really
explain
good.
to our community people.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So I remember when we were speaking before, you told me that your members of your family are in 8 different countries. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Around the world, because they've been taken from the camp and relocated. This must be hard for every member of your family, even today. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the impacts of separation of family, and maybe tell us about this photo too, if you like?
Thank you. This is a photo that we took from our Nepali language class. We are running here Nepali language school. It's a class before, but we talk and we started as a school. So these are our students and our teachers are here, Nepali teachers. So here, and maybe my boys are also here. These 2 little boys are here. These 2 boys.
Okay.
So this is a photo. And about the family separation, it's really difficult things for us. Like I wrote in my books also. In the new country, new system, new environment, everything is new for us. Like when we are in refugee camp, I also mentioned there in my book, though we are a refugee, we have no enough food to eat, no good clothes to wear, even we are feeling very happy to carry someone's boot. So we are happy to carry someone's shoes, because he doesn't have shoes. And if we get chance to carry someone's shoes, we feel proud, at least we can be able to carry someone's shoes. So to carry someone's shoes also we used to fight. Who will carry first?
You used to fight about who would carry the shoes?
Yes, carry someone's shoes. Like some of the football players, they used to go to play football, and they have a shoes. And we used to see how the football shoes looks like. And we used to carry, we used to see, because we doesn't have that. We walk for miles without food. And in refugee camp, like, it's very situation. And like in New Zealand, here I written once, we left Bhutan due to the cruel ruling system of Bhutan monarchy, especially to the Nepalese speaking people and Indian Nepal as a refugee. So during that time, I already told you, in a refugee camp, we have a small hut, and within that hut, we have to make a kitchen, we have to make a room, and all families sleep in one bed sometime. Like first time when we came from Bhutan, we buy one house of 300 rupees. That is maybe $4 of New Zealand. We bought, and there's one big bed, and we all sleep in the bed. And that is in the hut. There's only one bed. So. And one day the very strong storm coming, rainy, and that blew our house. Oh my God! Then nothing is there. So hard raining, and the water is coming up to our bed, like floating. Our bed is floating. We are there, and our parents try to protect us, but still they are all wet, and our everything is wet. And tomorrow morning we see that our plastic was on the top of the tree. So these are the situation. But we are very happy sometimes because we all are dear. Our parents is there, our brother is there, our sister is there, our uncle, auntie, everywhere they are in the same situation. So we help each other. Though we doesn't have everything, but our family are with us. But today, we are in very advanced country. We got lots of facility. We never think that one day we will have our own car. We never think that we will have 2 pair of shoes. Like I'll put one shoe and next day I'll wear another shoe. We never think that we will also have a dress and we can also speak with other people like how I speaking today. We never think that. But when we came here, everything's happened. Like we have a car, we are able to buy house, we have a good job. We are happy we can go and university and everything. We can get loan to go, no need to pay by our parents. So these all are things. We are happy to give, we can able to celebrate our festivals in the standard way. We are able to celebrate our children's birthday with the special cakes. But when we are in camp, we doesn't have a cake. Like there is no food to eat, so how can we have a cake? So there is no. We never celebrate our any birthday. We started when we came here.
So in the refugee camp, if your children had a birthday, there's nothing.
No, no one cared about birthday, because if we start to care, we have to make something for them. So we didn't care, just to save ourselves. And see, I already told you that we wait at our festival or a month to have meat. So this is very key things. And but though we have everything, but what happens is that we have no any family members. We are like economically we are good now. We are a very standard country. We don't need to worry for tomorrow future, because the government system is so good. We have our own job. And if we have any issue in our health condition, we can go back to benefit. And we have a very good medical facility and high quality education. Lots of fun. We have lots of park to go fun. Everything is there. But what happened? To go park, we have no friends. When we have a lots of beautiful things to eat, we can't able to eat now again. That time we cannot eat because of lack of money. But we cannot eat now because lack of our friends and relatives. When we have a lot of things, we think, my brother is in America, sister is in America, my auntie, my uncle, one is in Norway, and some are in Denmark, some are in Bhutan, and some are in refugee camp. When we have something special, we always, again, that all connected again comes. That we doesn't like to eat ourselves. So that makes us, again, sad. And like festivals, that time we cannot celebrate festival because lack of money. But now we can buy a lot of things. But in our culture, we put a tika, and maybe that photo will come later, and give some money, and give a blessing. Our elderly people, they give blessing to the children, and they give a little amount as a gift. And in return, the people come with some fruits and some things to meet the elderly people. That is our systems. And also in our culture, we used to live all together, like grandma, grandfather, mother, father, children, auntie, uncle. We used to live all joint family, extended family. So, but here, we doesn't have like that things. Like luckily, I have parents with me. My sister family is in Finland.
And they live in this, they share a house with you, right? So did they live in your home?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. So my brother in Christchurch, at least I have someone. But my wife, she have no one in New Zealand except me and my children's family. Our in-laws are in Nepal. Our parents are in Nepal. Our sisters and brothers in America, one in Australia. So she's here, and when the festival comes, she used to cry. And she used to send some money to parents. Used to talk on the phone and so on. So these are the things. Like if someone died, like if my parents died, my brother's in India, so he can't come here that time. And if he die, we can't be able to go there to help them. We know sometimes they are in difficulties, but what to do? We can't go there to help them physically. So these are things, but when we are in refugee camp, help each other when anyone is in difficulty. So these are the things. And what happened, another things that here also we make many friends now. But the connection and the love and affection was always goes to those whom we play from the childhood and grown up together. That always we connect to them. So my mom's sister is in Bhutan. We talk to them. And like especially we are now in 8 countries. Not 8 actually, we are in the 10, 11 countries.
11?
Like we are settled in the 8 different countries, like America, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, UK, Australia and New Zealand. And some our relatives are in Bhutan, some are in India, and some are in refugee camp. So everybody, every families were everywhere. So it is very hard to be together. That is the things. The family separation was happening to us. So there's very great things what we are bearing.
Thank you. But now you've been here since, is it 5 years, right? You've been in New Zealand for 5 years?
Yeah, that is our culture, yeah. How we put tika, like sisters are putting tika to brothers, like that. Yeah, family in New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell us anything more about
Oh,
this
yeah, thank
project?
you, yeah. So, families in New Zealand is now, this is quite good again. We are around 300 houses in New Zealand, and around 1,500 people are living here from Bhutanese refugee background people. We are usually sit in Christchurch, Nelson, and Manawatu. And one family in Auckland because of heart passion, and some are in Wellington. So highly populated is in Manawatu. We are 170 houses, and around 600 people we are living here. And I'm the secretary of this community presently. So I know all the data. So that is a good thing to be a secretary of the community. In New Zealand, I already told you, none of the family have everyone here. Only the part of family are coming here. Like some are father, mother, and one son here, and others are in the other part of the world. And some are only one daughter or son here, some are other part of the world. So anyway, we are living together and we're sharing our everything here. So in the family in New Zealand, another thing is that when we are in refugee camp, we don't need to make any appointment to go anywhere. We have no work, so we go and we talk for an hour. We can stay there itself sometime. We are living in the 7 refugee camp, and we used to go from one refugee camp to another refugee camp. We used to go like it will take an hour by bus, but we have no money to pay bus fare. So we used to go by walking. We'll walk like 10, 15 friends together and walking, and that's very fun to us. We can sit on the way, and sometimes we'll take some like mangoes and others from other gardens. That is not good to take other property, but we have nothing to eat on the way. So in Nepal, like there's lots of mangoes, lychees, and other things. So we used to go just thief some and put pocket and eat, and we run away. So we used to do like that. So that's very good things. So in refugee camp, like we used to go relatives, and we can stay there because we have very limited work. And but here in New Zealand, the new system is that even to meet my sister, I have to call her before I go her. Are you at home? Shall I come now? Or which time is good for you to come? So this is very good new things to make appointments. So sometime in our community, people come and knock our door without ringing to us because they don't like to make appointment because they never make an appointment before. So same thing they're doing here also. And sometimes we told them it is quite good in our community, but don't go and knock to other people or your volunteers anyway, because that is ring to them. That is a system of New Zealand, and make a habit to ring. But still, our old parents doesn't like to make an appointment now. So these are things we hear. And another things what I mentioned in this topic is that in Bhutan, people doesn't have lots of time to go out of the house and talk because we all are coming from agriculture background, and we have a lot. Even in my house, I know 1,000 orange trees are there. So big orange farms, 1,000 orange trees. Just imagine, so many. So and 133 sheep we have. And like 140 cows and all. In Bhutan, we used to take in the forest and make there itself a big, like what we did here. So, but we did not have a fencing there. So all people, especially our fathers, they are busy in the farm, and mothers are busy to look after kids and make food in Bhutan. But our elder kids, they have to go to look after cow, or sheep, or goat, and look their sibling. So they are so busy. In refugee camp, we doesn't look busy because there's nothing, no cow, nothing, no farm. So we all are free. and our routine break out, and we slowly became lazy. In New Zealand, we have a lot of family, and we are busy, and it's quite hard to meet our family again. Different than Bhutan, different in refugee camp, and different in New Zealand. Now I already told here, we have to just make appointment. But in Bhutan, what happened? Like if you go in other village, and if you feel tired on the way, you can go and ask any house, oh, I feel tired, so I like to stay here tonight. Everybody, they welcome to you. You can sit here, let's eat what we have. And they treat you family, and they keep you that night, and next day you can go. Like when you go, they will give something to you on the way to eat also. That is a very good system in Bhutan. Like if anybody comes at evening, they will not let them to go anywhere. What we believe is that people who come in at the evening, they are our God. So we believe that in our culture, in our religion, what is there, if anybody comes at evening at your home, give first priority to them. Maybe they are coming in the form of God. So they respect and they treat very well. So they did still in Bhutan, but slowly that this criminal going on in the world, people start to believe this. But before that happened, and here, here in New Zealand, like the appointments and everything. Another thing is that like a generation gapping now, like 60 and plus people like to cook their own cultural food at home, and they don't like to go in other house or other restaurant in any place to eat, because they don't like to go everywhere and eat, because they believe that's not safe for them. So culturally they are binded and they like to prepare their own food at home. But 40 plus people, they like to go restaurant or anywhere they enjoy. And the kids and teenagers, what I found is that when we call them to eat food, they always rice, always rice. I want to go KFC, I like to go McDonald's. Can you bring me fish and chips? And my mother asks, my boys, they ask, I like to eat chicken nuggets. Then my mom asked, what is chicken nuggets? And my boys told, you don't know that simple chicken nuggets mean. And my mom said, how she know what is chicken nuggets mean? And like they asked my father, can you take us to the King Burger? And my father, what is King? King, he know King, but what is King Burger? The very new fashion taste is very new for them. And sometimes there is a misunderstanding with the grandparents and the children. Like the children thought that grandparents don't know the simple thing. How you became a grandparent? They have a silly question to them. And like sometimes the teenagers, they pressuring their parents to go in the restaurant and KFC and McDonald's. And when their parents the parents don't, no, we don't go, let's have our own cultural food in home. And the teenagers, they are becoming angry, and they think, other parents taking, why you not? Then that makes also the little bit like a misunderstanding of family. And some parents, they took, and they enjoy together, and they can balance their family. But some parents, they cannot able to balance the family. So that makes a misunderstanding. And other things I wrote here, the word. In Bhutan, in Nepal, there is on the system of one shift. People go in the morning, coming in the evening at house, all finished. But what happened here? Morning shift, afternoon shift, night shift, casual, part-time, full-time, so many type of jobs. But in Bhutan, there is always full-time, from morning to evening. No part-time, no casual, need to go in the farm and need to work from morning to evening. That is their job. Here, if I go morning shift, my wife working evening shift, and it's hard to get together, the family. And these are the things. And like sometimes we like to go together, but different of shift, we can't do that. So sometimes there is a misunderstanding also, like family, like especially the illiterate and uneducated family. The uneducated, if the husband is uneducated, and the wife comes late, because sometimes we have to do the extra job. Why are you coming late? What happened to you today? because our community is quite a male-dominated community. What our males are believing that female need to stay at home. In our culture, especially still in Bhutan, Nepal, the ladies are not going out for work. They stay at home, they prepare food, they look after children. Here, anybody can go work. So our, especially the 50 plus people, female going for work and coming late night, what's it doing, my God? Why are you coming late? So these things happening here also, but we explain to them. This is a different country and different system. Sometimes we have to be late in job. Sometimes someone is come and we have to cover the shift. So this is a minor thing. So we explain to them also. So these are things. And other things, what happened here is that like some of the parents, they are illiterate. And the teenagers and other children who are grown up here, they take the advantage of them. Like they took the credit card of their parent, they use the money, and the parent doesn't know that how much money years spent. And if they ask, they say, no, your money is in your card, but the parent doesn't know how to check the card. So sometimes they come and talk to us. Please, can you talk to our children, son or daughter? They are doing such things.
Is that part of your duty as secretary of the community?
Yeah, sometimes that makes me busy. Anyway, yes, I talk to most of the teenagers and the youth, especially, see, because of your parents, today you are here. If your parent does not come here and if they stay still in a refugee camp like other people, then how you can become a New Zealander? How can you use the credit card of your parent? First of all, thanks to your parent, they sacrifice for you. When they're coming from refugee camp, they think your future. Yes, in the refugee camp, most of the people, they talk, oh, now we didn't go back to Bhutan, but let's think about children's future. If we go this country, maybe they will educate it and they will do good job, and no need to suffer me like as refugee. So they brought you here, but in return, you have to give respect and you have to guide to them instead of taking the advantage of their illiteracy. So most of the youth, they agree with that point, and they do exactly. I told them, you take them in the trips, let's put a tent in the summer and keep 1 2 nights, and let's take a park and let them to play. Just when you go to anything, you can take. Like what happens is that the youth, they drag themselves and they neglect the parents. The parents always need to stay at home. And if they ask, please can you take me to that house, they ignore the parents. So not all, but some. But some families are so good, so good teamwork. They work very hard and buy a house within 3-4 years. Even I bought a house within 4 years in New Zealand.
That's amazing, by the
So,
way.
I mean, my lawyer asked me, oh, how long you are coming here in New Zealand? Just 5. And how long you working? Just 4. And how you buying house? Then he asked, you have to teach the Kiwi people also how to save. That is so in our community also, students, they grown up and they help the parents, they buy a house and good. They are always talk in the team, in the family, and make a good decision and work accordingly. But some of the family, only the 2-3% families are ruined because of parents are uneducated and children are taking the advantage of that. So these are the things in the family. In New Zealand situation, but now most of our children, they are going to university in the UK, they are doing nursing and a good job. We are very proud to them. And we are very thankful to everyone. These are the things.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're making short work of this book. You can see it's a full book, but we're getting a good tour. I know because you went through with the chapters with me. This is a beautiful photo. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Festival and Freedom. That is our cultural dress, and this is our hat that represent we are Nepali speaking people. So this is our culture. It's very good. And it's very good to have our own cultural dress and language and things, because in the world, in the millions of people, if I stand with that hat, everybody knows he's from background. So the things. If we in the millions of people crowd, if we see some ladies are wearing that, we know that they are from the Nepali cultural people. So these are the very important things here. So on this topic, I would like to talk festival and freedom.
Because things have changed a bit doing festivals here in New Zealand.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So see, it's very important festival and culture. You know better than me, because peoples are living on the base of their culture. The culture is very good guidelines for every people. So it's same for us too. In Bhutan also, in our festival, all people stop their work. They finish before the festival comes. And the festival, like in Bhutan and before, there is a 15 days holiday for Dasai. And for Deepavali, there is 5 days off, like a Labor Day, 1 day off. Like, that is our culture. 15 days you will be free. You will be paid by government if you have a government job. So in refugee camp also we celebrate lots of our cultural festival. We became refugee. One of the reasons to be refugees also this is the culture. In Bhutan we are raised. We need to be allowed to continue our festival, our language and culture, because we can't live without culture and language. But the time the Bhutan government took it negatively, and they started to suppress us. So we to save our festival, language, culture, our arts and belongings, we left the country and became a refugee. And here in New Zealand, before we came in New Zealand, in the refugee camp, when we heard now the third country resettlement process is coming, people have a question. The one question is that whether we are allowed to speak our language or not, whether we are allowed to wear our cultural dress or not, whether we are allowed to celebrate our festival, culture or not. These are the things. People did not ask whether you will give food to eat us or not. People never ask whether you give house or not. But people always ask whether we are allowed to celebrate and continue our culture, our belongings, arts or not. And the team of New Zealand also went to Nepal to talk us about New Zealand. That time we asked the first question, same thing about our culture. Then they told, no, New Zealand is a very free country. You are allowed to do your culture, your language and anything. You are allowed it to. So people are happy to come here. So in New Zealand, when you came here, we established our own community, like a Bhutanese Society of New Zealand Incorporated. Now before we are only in Manawatu. So later on, people make their own organization in the Nelson and Christchurch. So now we add Manawatu in brackets. So
it's all one society, one organization.
Yeah. And here, when you come in Mangi Center in Auckland, we are welcomed by the Maori people. I never forget that one word, Kiora and Harimai. That is the interesting word I heard from here. So here we celebrate our Dasai, Deepavali, our cultural festivals, and before you saw that our language, that our international program, when I published my book, many writers are coming from different parts of the world. So we are allowed to promote our language. We have a school now, Nepali school. So we are wearing our dress. No one asks, why are you wearing that? So people, they respect. So what we feel is that we feeling we are respected, included in the New Zealand. So if we didn't get a chance to do this, maybe we'll frustrate, and maybe we think that we are not included in New Zealand, but everything makes us included. So we are promoting our children, encouraging our new generation to keep on coming to school and involved in the different cultural programs. And here, another thing is that we take a part in every festivals in the Manawatu. So last time the mayor, Helen, and before that Margaret, she also asked some item here we brought, and Helen. And in Palmerston we normally do every time. So we also invite to them, and they come and they give us space. We also invite the Maori leaders and others. They come. Last time, there is one Maori leaders group. They sing a song so nicely. I don't know there, but they also coming in our festival and they sing song for us. It's very good. We enjoyed a lot. So in New Zealand, we're really happy to celebrate our festival culture very openly, and everybody are very happy for that, especially our parents. Like our parents are very worried, whether we are allowed to put tika or not, whether we are allowed to, because they don't wear a pant. They don't like pant. They feel uncomfortable. They wear a sari and blouse and kurta like that. So when you are in refugee camp, the people just think, oh, if you go in America or New Zealand, you have to wear a pant. And you have to cut your hair, and you have to, like that, they are talking like that. But here, though it doesn't feel like that. We can wear what we like. So that is the things about this festival and freedom. We are very good.
That's really wonderful. And finally, talk a little bit about being thankful to New Zealand. You've dedicated a chapter of your book to that, and you have a lot of gratitude. You told me that for all that's been possible, for your plans for the future, for for you and your family in New Zealand. So I was wondering if you might just talk a little bit about that, about being thankful to New Zealand.
Yes.
You also had a chapter which we didn't have time for that I think I should mention about the beauty of New Zealand, which I think a lot of people could relate to as well.
This thankful to New Zealand, once I came to know that, while you're in a refugee camp, we have just two options. One is to go back to Bhutan or stay in a refugee camp. And we are so frustrated, like we complete our education, no way to grow, nothing to do. All the youth are getting frustrated and there's no good food to eat, nothing. But luckily we became refugees in Nepal, because Nepal, we have the same culture, same language, everything. We are quite lucky. So we can go and start job in the private boarding school, because the education of Bhutan is very good than what we got in Nepal. So our education getting a lot of market in Nepal. So we used to go and work in the boarding school. So the things, but we don't have any good dream, nothing, because most of the children, they started neglecting their study also, because there is no use of reading and writing, because there is no future. So we all are depressed at time. But when in 2007, the UNICEF brought the third country resettlement program in the refugee camp, that really turned us. That shook our heart, like all came, and the topic was changed. Before people was talking in different topic, but once this third country resettlement enter in the refugee camp, people start talking, what is this third country mean? Why we are going? Then the UNICEF giving us the list of 8 countries, and they told you can select any country you like to go. Then people just hear Australia and America. They don't know where is New Zealand, where is Denmark, Norway, Netherlands. So people don't know which country go. So there is a list, but how can we choose which country go? Because we don't know who are living there. There is no one to ask. Like if there is anyone we know New Zealand, we can, do you know what is New Zealand? Can you tell something? But there is no one to ask. So at that time, New Zealand teams went to the refugee camp and they show us video of New Zealand and they explain New Zealand is such a country. And I was working as a teacher, as a social study, and I know lots better about this all the world. I have to teach all about the world. So it is very easy for me to know what is New Zealand and what are culture here, what kind of people are living, so what are the languages. So I Googleized and started to study that. And my brother was first coming in 2009 in New Zealand. First he trying to go to Norway, but I told him Norway is not that much good for us because of language and it's very far. And
very cold.
It's very cold also. Because in Nepal is quite hot country, though the Mount Everest is there. And some people went from here, and they also thought it's better to go New Zealand. And my brothers came here, and we came to here. And like why we like to give thanks to New Zealand is that not only New Zealand, every single individual citizen or New Zealander is that we are the people who are living in the dust, in the mud, and there is nothing to us, no dream, no future. Such a peoples, and how they love to us. This great humanity. They when they came, they see our situation, they pick us from the floor and bring us this standard life. Today, I have a pairs of clothes to change. I told you, within a one shot, I spent whole school year. If our slipper broken, our mom used to put another like stitch it and we send. Again, a few days it will broken, again stitch. So today, if our slipper broken, I used to throw in the rocks and can get some new slipper for me. So our life is totally changed. We never get chance to go in the car because we doesn't have a single amount to pay for the bus fare. And who allowed us to go and enter in our car? No, even we cannot ride a motorbike because we doesn't have to buy a motorbike. And the other cannot allow us to go and sit in their motorbike. But here, we can have a car, we can have a house, we have a new life. Now, we dream. Sometimes I think, oh, if when I was small, in the school age, if I know one day I'll go New Zealand, maybe I will study so hard that time. And I come here and complete my degree or master in New Zealand. But that what happened? In refugee life, there's no anything. What to do by so too much. But then also I complete my +2 and bachelor. So though there is no any future, but then also I complete that in the refugee. So in the New Zealand today, we are so thankful. Another reason is that the job. In the job, we are respected by the others workers which are working to us. Even the management team understand our language. Sometimes we try to say something and we cannot able to complete the whole things in proper way, but they can understand and they figure out actually what we are going to tell to them. Most of our people, we start the English from here. Who know ABCD from New Zealand, they also getting their jobs. So they know that, the management team know that they cannot speak properly, but they accepted us and let us to work. So slowly the people's buying their house, they maintain their standard life. They are able to send some amount to the people who are back to refugee camp. And the other thing is that the citizenship. It is very easy to get citizenship in New Zealand comparison of other countries. Like Denmark, our people are 10 years, 12 years now. But only few people they able to buy the car because they have a money, but they need to pass the test because of language they can't. And they need to pass the test to get a citizen and they can't. But here, last time in the interview, my mom is quite free and frank to speak. She said, "Hello, Kiora, how are you?" But from that point, she passed the interview. My father little nervous, and she can. My father is good to write. He learned from here, but when someone asked to him, he's nervous, and a little bit nervous. And next time, his interview was repeated. And next time, he passed. And we don't need to give any kind of interview because we talk normally. So we got the citizenship in 2019 last year, and my parents.
By the way.
Yeah, and my parents, my father's citizen was come in house. A man coming and knocked the door. Oh, your father's citizen. Congratulations. So what a great country. Coming at home, knock the door and give the citizen. That's very great. And another thing is that what we feel is that when we walking around with the tag of refugee, we don't feel comfortable to speak to people. We think that we are a refugee. But holding with the citizen of New Zealand and pastor of New Zealand, in the aeroplane also, we can shake the hand properly. Hey, I am New Zealand citizen. And the way of behaving is different. When you come in the refugee background, the people doesn't care to us. how are you? They didn't ask, they work from us, but they never ask that much. But when we are now traveling the world, they ask, how are you? How can I help you? They treat us in a very good way. And they offer a coffee with us. Let's have a coffee together. We are great. Now we can chase the coffee with them. So these are great things, what I written in my book, that point. Like in the world, if they ask from where are you, I can proudly say I'm from New Zealand. So once I say from New Zealand, the way they are living is totally changed. And I proudly say to the world. And now also I feel, I am in the one of the, I also one of the people of this university, because I have identity now. So that's the great things that we got here. And lastly, other thing is, there are many things in my book, but I can't read everything. Oh yeah. Finally, that we are very thankful to New Zealand, because we coming blindly to Nepal. We don't know about New Zealand much before we come. But once we come here, the one thing is that Edmund Hillary is from New Zealand. Oh, he climbed Mount Everest. So there is some attachment with the Nepali people. That is the one point why people choose New Zealand also.
Okay.
That is the point. So when we coming here, we travel all over the South Island everywhere. That's in 2016. And my moms have a great dream to see how people play cricket in New Zealand. Because in news, when you're a refugee, when we came to know the name of New Zealand, we start hear the news. And the cricket, New Zealand name is coming in cricket in Australia, New Zealand. And my moms have a dream. And so I took her last time, and she saw in the studio. She's so happy. Her dream also fulfilled. So see, now our parents are getting chance to study, and we have got a good job, we have house, car, and we are very proudly say to the world now, we are the citizen of New Zealand. And no one can dominate us. And last point, what I written is that we always be with New Zealand, New Zealanders, and we can sacrifice anything if country need. That is our promise. Thank you all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate, like I said, when you share your story, it's a gift, and I really appreciate this gift that you've given us today. I want to open things for conversation and questions. I think we had till 12:15. Is that right? Or no? Was it 12?
12:30.
Oh, 12:30. Oh, wow. We've got plenty of time. Okay, great. I want to have the first question, and that is, will this book be translated into English? Are you working on that?
Yeah, I gave one of the translators to translate it, and I'd like to, maybe it will complete it in 6 to 7 months.
Okay.
I hope the next year you will get.
We're all looking forward to that. So that will be fantastic. So I thought we might just open it up to anybody that has any questions.
Oh, yeah, you are.
That's all right.
I have Gopal. I've really enjoyed your positive energy and your appreciation. I'm the daughter of a refugee, and you're so different to my dad, who has spent his whole life bitter and angry. And I'm wondering, is that your personality? Is it your culture? Is it your religion? Or is it about what New Zealand now manages to do differently in terms of appreciating other cultures and helping you to become integrated? Or all of the above? How would you understand all your positive energy?
It is a really interesting question. And like when we are back in Nepal or in Bhutan, we just have one culture and one fashion. Everybody doing the same thing. But here, like we are different people from different backgrounds. Like some are Muslim background, some are from Hindu background, some are Christian, and even like Burmese people are here, Afghans people are here. So when we get together to celebrate the festivals and all, before in the beginning my parents feel quite uncomfortable because they are habited only one culture. But now slowly my parents also started involving into other cultures and started sharing food and so on. In our culture, normally parents, they are not eating everywhere. But now, even my parents are also give a company to other peoples. And one word I written in my book also that we never seen the refugee like us from other country. But when we meet many refugee people from Burma, Afghan, Pakistan in Mangri Center, oh my God, you are also we feel so like close as a friend because we know we are from same background and we're changing our culture there also, and we really feel proud to have a many culture in our country because that gives a like a unity in diversity. So we're so happy, and my parents, my children are already they are adopted, but especially for elderly people, it's quite hard and take a time to do things. Do you want that or anything you want more?
No, that's helpful. Thank you. I think
and
that 80 years ago, the policy seemed more one of assimilation. If you're going to go to a new country, you must assimilate. You must, you know, Dad and his parents, in my understanding, gave up their language, gave up their religion. You know, you're coming to New Zealand, you must speak English. I don't know how much that was their family's choice and how much it was the country's imposition, but probably both.
Yeah, in this point, my parents are so happy. Like sometime, if you go anywhere, like a festival, most especially in the square, many people have different colorful clothes, their own cultural dress, and they are speaking their own language. There, some people are speaking something, and we are talking our own way. And our parents are very happy, especially because they can, in the park, anywhere they can speak Nepali, and they talk and sit in the Nepali language. It's very good. What our parents feel before we came to New Zealand, they feel far better what they found in New Zealand. That's the one, because everybody noticed that, in New Zealand, every culture has respect and give a value and include it. That makes our parents and everyone so happy.
Thank you, Gopal, for your very generous comments about New Zealand. I'm wondering whether your brothers and sisters who have settled in other places have had the same positive experiences as you have had.
Oh yeah, my brothers had a accident in refugee camp. He just at that time I already told you that we have no money to pay a bus fare to travel in bus. So one day my brother hang beside the bus, and when bus stopped, the bus staff come and when he run, and the truck was coming and the truck hit him. So in the refugee, there's no money to treat him, but luckily in the refugee camp, everybody paid little and we treat him. And he came in New Zealand. He was brought here because he's from the disability quota also. Because when you're in the refugee camp, they told, especially New Zealand will take the disability, single woman, and like that, who really need help. So he came through that quota. And in New Zealand, he came and he became the driving instructor now. He had his own school. So his name is Silas Poudyel Driving School. He's running in Christchurch. This is a great, amazing job what he's doing here. And he have 3 boys. One he brought from the refugee camp itself, and 2 was born here. And his second boy is so smart. He have a business. He bought a bicycle and he said, he's making bicycle himself. And so smart. He's nearly over 9 years old. But so smart boy. And my brother also have a business-minded boy. And my brother and his son, they are working together, have business. So they bring bicycle and they repair and they sell it and they running the school. And my sister, my boys are also, my brother's boys are playing from Canterbury. He's 11 years old, playing soccer. So cute, so good boy. Out of 10, you'll score 8 corner ball. So clear, that type of talent. And my sister is here. We are quite educated, my brother and we got good education, whereas my sister is not. But then also our children are growing up. Now they are studying. Go to one of boys working here in New World. Others are working in New World itself in the Nelson, and they are working hard. They're good. We used to go and we just encourage her. She's very good. And she have lots of Kiwi people. And there is one Maori guy. He's very good man. His name, Terry. His name is Terry. And once our sister is coming here, he also is the neighbors of her. And he is a very good man, always helping to them, taking to the market, giving the driving class for the family and making the driver for most of them. So good man. And he used to come to our house also. He's like our part of family. Usually I found in my sister's house, living together, eat together. He's very good man. He's quite old. And I think he has some cancer problems. He's late. But he's very fantastic man. Yeah.
Another wonderful story.
Yeah.
That's great. Other questions or just conversations you'd like to have with Gopal before we bring things?
Thank you. I've really enjoyed your talk today, Gopal. Thank you. Just I'm curious about your job. What do you do?
Oh, I working here in the refugee camp. I work two jobs. One is I working as a teacher and working in the psychosocial field. Like in refugee camp, most of the people that are depressed, frustrated, and they need a psychological treatment. And from early age itself, I was social manner, so I used to go and help them, to encourage to them, to find the solution of the problem. So encouraging to work in the team, the family. And here also I came and work in the elderly people field. I like to go and help the elderly people because in our culture, what we believe is that if you help the elderly people, they bless you, and that bless help you to make a good future. It never makes the old people to cry. In our culture, what we think is that if the old people cry because of us, and that because of a tear, our life is not good. So in next generation, maybe we'll born like a disabled or like that. So we always want to make happy and smile to the elderly people. And once I come here, I went and what is the elderly? How can I work in the elderly people? Then they told me there are lots of restaurant. Then I get chance to go and work in the restaurant as a caregiver, as a support worker. So I'm very happy to go in the morning. I work in the morning shift. I reach in the restaurant at 6:45. I go and say hello everyone. I help them. I feed them. So I'm very happy to feed them, to dress up them, and to talk them what they did in their life. So I learn a lot of experience to them. They share a lot of experience. So I'm so proud to have the elderly people. So I'm working here. So maybe in future I go for nursing also. Now I think I can do now nursing because when I come in first New Zealand, if people talk something, I hear them but I cannot recognize what they are talking. Very hard to catch up. But now I can easily catch up what they are talking. And I also make them to understand.
So you think you might do your nursing training?
Yeah, still I'm doing online course now. I'm going to finish level 4 of this healthcare. So after that, may I go yoga.
I'm sure they love having you.
Yeah. But I'll not live to look after old people. That's my promise to do in New Zealand.
Thank you. Other questions or things on your mind or comments that you'd like to make before we...
Can you explain your hat, please?
Oh, hat.
Colours,
This is
design.
we call this Dhaka topi in Nepali. And this is a very special shape it makes. And this is represent our culture and our identity. So especially we wear this anytime also, doesn't matter like a special occasion or anything. You can wear any times, but normally I used to wear in the occasion. But my parents, my father, and people over 50, everybody they used to wear that hat. That is one of our cultural dress.
And the colours and patterns.
Culture patterns, There's a different kind of patterns, and it doesn't represent anything. But the hat is important. So far, maybe it has some, but I doesn't have that much deep knowledge.
I find it difficult because, as you can see, I'm a bit older, and in the last 20 years we have got such a huge number of different cultures.
Oh, yeah.
And I walk down the street and I think, because a lot of men wear hats, but they're all slightly different.
So, if you go to visit Nepal, normally you'll find a lot of hats in the market. Yeah, especially for you will find lots of people with a hat.
Yeah, thank you.
Our identity, representing our identity also.
Fantastic. Great. Do you want to tell us anything about this photo before we
Wrap
wrap up?
Maybe my mom is here somewhere else.
Oh, yes.
My mom is here. So she's my mom. She's tall like me. My father is not tall like me. My mom is here. So this is the photo we took in the Marae. I talked to you before in Auckland. So she is a nurse from our community.
Okay.
She is a nurse. We took our nurse that time. These are cultural dress. So this is actually our cultural dress for women, and we took this all elderly ladies and our elderly men to a bus trip, and that time we sponsored by Manawatu District Council and Palmerston North District Council. And thankful to Helen, she supported us. And we hired the bus around maybe 5,000 like that for 3 days. No, Friday night we went. We reached morning in Auckland, and we were welcomed in Auckland, and we have a lunch there in the Marae. And after that we went different temples, and at night we came back and stayed in the Marae. And we took that photo early in the morning. And next day we come through Toronga and came to. Elderly people are so happy, so they make me secretary actually. That is the reason why they like me to be a secretary, thinking that Gopal will take another time. But COVID-19, because of COVID, I can't able to make them any program. So.
Well, just thank you again for talking to us and sharing your life and your culture and how you all settled into New Zealand. It sounds actually like you're all doing quite well, and your community has a lot of support from each other and from New Zealand. So thank you very much. Can we just thank Gopal one more? Thank you.
Thank you, Thom, so much because he guided me.
You thought you were missing out on a tree. It's yours.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
This is a native tree. It'll have yellow flowers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
I know
very
just
much.
where I'll plant it.
There's tea, coffee, and some snacks down the library if you want to have any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's really good. More even talk. I would have been in the audience.
Good to stand up.
Thank you everybody for your time and listening to me. I enjoyed that to see it.
Hi, Val. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Very interesting. There is a 22 chapter. I talk only 4 chapters. There is total 22 different chapters.
I look forward to reading it in English, but yes, we'd love to. I will ask them if they want to. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, should I do that? Okay. I'll email you and tell you what's happened with that too. That's great. I'll put this in here so I don't lose it. We'll catch up soon. Yeah.
See you in any days.
Thank you. Yes.
It's great being able to tell a story. As soon as, well, we had been talking anyway for various reasons, and as soon as he told me that he had a book, I thought, wow, I know this book thing coming up. So we actually organised this quite some time ago. And how did your session go?
Went really well, yeah.
I heard people clapping over there. I thought that was a good sign.
It was just like, yeah, it was just very comfortable and Colin really gets into it and asked really interesting questions.
Oh, great.
Really good aspect of it. But also not just too early, you know, like generate. It's just very, very good.
Oh, good.
And Thom was saying that it was one of the best sessions.
Tom had a great session, yeah, we were just really, well, we were just really nice, yeah. And I really enjoyed the book, so that helped.
Yeah.
So I think the book lends itself to a discussion pretty well, you know, there's obvious questions that jump off, and so, yeah, it was really good.
Very good.
I am doing it so much, that sounds great. I'm actually starved.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, after you talk, it's
Let me just thank the library here.
Yes, you do.
Thank you both. This was, I really enjoyed the session, so thanks for Tree and for organizing it. Oh, well, we have a couple of in the garden, they're doing quite well, so we'll put it with them.
maybe come back.
Quite a few. Well, all of them.
I just enjoyed Tom's. Did he tell you I bumped into Thom at some Shakespeare? So he and got talking and he was very good.
Yeah, I mean, the book lends itself so well for this question.
It's lovely. I mean, he's into it. Which means I'm going to use the speed fiction book.
Yes, you need to do that. Absolutely.
Since I smashed up my wrist, my head just
I told Richard and some of the top schools. I appreciate that.
All right, take care of yourself. Look at your
things that Richard knows. I might be quite wrong. Some is pretty good. She types up quite a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And also Alice, she's brothers and sisters, they just like him. They're stated to the four winds and they, they've got family in Canada.
Yes.
They're the only ones in New Zealand, and they feel that, they've felt that loss all their lives. They've been fortunate that, once they started to earn some money and have their own house and things, they travelled and they did visit, and brothers in Canada, his brothers in Canada have done particularly well, and they're not to come out to New Zealand, and it's not like that for everyone.
No, it's not. I think when we talked about, some of the good things about the refugee camp, about being welcome wherever they went, and that sort of everyone is family, and it's recognised that you are an extension of another family. That would not be the case here. Obviously, we've got community.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
it
still not.
is. Yeah, and I was thinking it might have Manawatu,
Yeah,
but
exactly. That's
yeah,
what
I should have asked that question actually. But yeah.
Yeah, yes, I'm a bit paranoid about it. It actually started to get cold. Maybe I don't know what's the matter.
When I saw that text from you last night, I thought of you with your scarf, your
I
gloves
was
on your...
sitting on the bed, I didn't have my gloves on, I had socks on. Because I hadn't even picked a pair of slippers.
No, I didn't pick
I
slippers,
don't
no.
own my hardly.
I didn't take a Woolly Road.
Yes,
which
you
John
don't.
queried.
Yes,
when
I was
But
very.
he was quite impressed with
Yeah,
me.
no, I had a little coat and I put that on and my big scarf and I put the socks on and then turned. I was very pleased to have my duty. I'll nip up to the window. Okay.
I put them in groups.
You're going to have to face the screen to start with.
I could do them in some semicircles.
Yeah, that might be better. Like they're all facing. Oh, that's just so no one can sit on that one. Right, I get it. So you can really sit on every single one.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, so they are facing. Okay, we'll leave them.
All right.
We'll leave them because it's too complicated the way they.
Yeah.
Because I was even thinking like put them around the edge so that there's a space.
Right, okay, so.
If that's not going to work. That's all right. We'll just go.
Okay. And I see they've got a clock here that's quite good for the presenter.
Oh, cool. I was thinking because mine's 2 hours to give them a break in the middle. I can just do that.
You give them get up and walk around.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah. 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 That makes sense. No, sure. Get up and move around. No, do you have time to do get online?
Probably.
No, right. That's good. Oh, Russell Paul.
Who's he? Oh, yeah.
He used to be a professor of English at school.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never met him or heard of him.
No, he's an emeritus distinguished professor. So that's okay.
At the University of Western Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. They were previously taught in Western University. So he must be back.
So you knew him.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
You might be able to go see his son.
Yeah. Okay, good. Seems like actually good idea.
Yeah, she's on the panel for 20.